Renee Young, yes, that's right.
Yes.
This is so cool. WWE Backstage on FS1. We're here in Miami for NFL Super Bowl week. WWE has its own Super Bowl coming up in Tampa, not too far from here,
not too far.
in April. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
This is, to me, like a groundbreaking show. It really is. I mean, it's on sports cable, which I don't think any sports cable channel has ever had, national, has had a show like this.
It's cool.
When this idea came about, just what were your thoughts? You seem like perfect for something like this.
I think that was like, I sort of had those same sentiments that I knew it was the show that's like, man, I want to be on that show. It's a perfect spot for me to be able to sort of like, I love thriving in these kind of situations. I love shows like this. It's so, it's just natural for me to be able to sit and have conversations about WWE with people. So to be able to have that show on FS1 and to be able to bridge the gap between WWE and other mainstream sports that are shown on Fox on FS1 is such a cool opportunity. I mean, for us to be able to see WWE promos shown during NFL games is like mind-blowing. It's such a cool thing to be a part of. It's awesome.
What's it like having this down here? It's the first time that the show has traveled.
Yeah.
And you're going to have an audience too tonight as well.
I'm mostly excited for the audience. I mean, we travel so much with WWE that it's like we're so used to being on the road and in a different spot. And like, it's funny, today I was in my hotel room and I was like, oh, I should like go down to the beach and like check something out. Because we're so used to just being in a hotel room and kind of not really paying attention to our surroundings that much, and taking in, again, that like this is a very special occasion. That we're here getting ready to do Backstage in Miami Beach with everything going on with Super Bowl. Yeah, just it's got such a cool vibe to it. Seeing the huge, gigantic WWE Championship that's outside.
That is so cool.
To have that big WWE representation here. I know Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin up and down doing some media scrums between the Chiefs and Niners. So yeah, it's just badass.
Yeah, the special correspondence, right?
Trying to steal my job.
Oh, come on, what's going on here? That's right.
Rude. I'm trying to get paid out here.
Maybe it's their football, some little bit of the football background is what I guess.
Put them up on that one, I guess. Fine.
Renee, how do you describe this show?
This is a show for the fans. I think for us to be able to have conversations like having Booker T on, having Christian on, having Paige, CM Punk, people are dying to hear what these guys think of the world of WWE. They want to hear their opinions on it. They want us to go a little bit behind the curtain on things. They want their expert analysis on the things that are happening on Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. And I think that's the thing that we always keep in mind when we're putting the shows together, of like what people want to hear us talk about. You know, what's going to make this different from a standard WWE show? How can we break away from that? I mean, WWE is so great with coming out with so much content. And for me, I'm so used to working within that mold that it's cool to step away from that and now be working with everybody at FS1 and see how they put together shows and working with new producers. And the set that we have is beautiful. It feels so cool. It feels like some next level kind of situation with the show that we're doing here. But yeah, I think it's really for us keeping in mind that this is a show for the fans and give them what they want to hear.
And it's interesting because we had the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. And
this is like great. What a topic to talk about. They got such great reviews.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts of the Rumble?
I loved it. It was one of the best Rumbles I've seen in a long time. As soon as, like, sitting there watching Royal Rumble, and Booker and I were both working, and Christian, we were all working on the kickoff show for Royal Rumble. So we were done early in the day, except for Booker, who called the men's Royal Rumble match. But to just watch the Royal Rumble as a fan, I loved it. It made me so, like, legit, just very excited to do this show today, to have so much to talk about. We've got new stories that have started to evolve, some new stars that are starting to rise up in WWE, and it just feels fresh, it feels exciting to have Edge come back. I mean, there was just so many huge moments to talk about. It's, you know, we get excited to do all of our shows. We have such a good gig out here, like we love doing it, but this is a very special show. I'm very excited for it.
How much of the work that you did before WWE has helped you into what you're doing now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, the stuff with WWE is, you have to know what you're talking about. You cannot wing it. You can't go in there and not know who everybody is or know what their background is. You need all that stuff from storytelling in WWE. I mean, if you are remotely any bit of a fraud within our business, you get sniffed out very quickly. So my time that I've had in WWE, to have fans be familiar with me, for me to be in so many different roles in WWE has certainly helped me out for this. that it just makes it feel like such a great layup. Like it feels like, something just feels easy. It's like the natural fit, and that's what this feels like for me. It's like a doctor, and it's really nice.
Do you prepare differently to do a show like this compared to other things you've done?
Yeah, I do in the sense that as far as coming up with the questions that I'm going to be asking, and our tone here is different than it is with WWE. We talk about things in a different light than we normally would with WWE, so that has to change my mindset going into it. And even sitting down to do interviews, like tonight we're going to have Roman Reigns on the show. It's like, we're not talking to Roman Reigns necessarily about his Falls Count Anywhere match with Baron Corbin. We're going to be talking to him about his football career. I mean, what Super Bowl means to him is something we've already talked about. WWE to be joining with Fox, and for us to have this presence at Super Bowl. So it's not necessarily just talking to like that character. We're talking to Roman Reigns, the man, and that is the difference sort of what I had done prior when WWE.
Well, that's interesting. For me, this is interesting because me doing interviews, I'm wondering too, like when you're doing a show like that for you, I can't speak for anyone else, but for you, do you sort of, you have your production meetings and all that, you have sort of like, all right, these questions I want to ask, but then when they're answering, do you ever like, something else because of how they answered?
And that's the thing for me is like, my preparation is such that, I'll have a couple questions that I want to lob up, but I love leaving that room for the follow-up. Because if we don't have that follow-up, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the interview. I think that's something that that I've been good at throughout learning the skill of interviewing, is being able to have those follow-ups and just listening and being present in the interview. So I love having that extra room to just work with in case something interesting pops up. So as much as, we might have rehearsals and during our production meetings we can talk about some of the things that we want to talk about, it doesn't mean that's necessarily how it's going to go when we're out there. So it's being all ears and paying attention to what's going on that I think is critical in my role.
Critical for you, what are some of the critical things about the show and goals of the show?
I think for me is getting a little bit deeper into some of our storylines. It's one thing for us to talk about Roman, Seth, Bray Wyatt. I want to come in there and, I think it's cool to be able to talk about Keith Lee, that we can talk about the stuff that Lacey Evans is doing. We can talk about Bianca Belair. We can talk about Naomi coming back. Like, there's so many other storylines that I think that the true fans are salivating to talk about as well. I mean, we always have the big main storylines we can talk about. I love going beneath the surface of that and talking about some of the other stuff that's going on in WWE. So I want to keep a focus on that going forward.
Keep it fresher, more diversity, so to speak, because you're able to talk about
things. You can't talk about the same three people all the time. It's nice to give a little bit of love to other people, and our roster is so deep. On Raw, SmackDown, NXT, we've got so many mega
even
stars.
ones that aren't, like in Florida we have the loop of NXT house shows. And oh my God, some of the there's a lot of talent.
And we don't always have the time on the show to give love to everybody, but when someone does something really cool and we can take the time to talk about that and give them a little bit of love, those are my favorite moments. I love being able to do that.
What's been like working with the executives, the producers, the team with Fox and FS1?
I mean, they're like pros. They make my job easy. So what I keep saying to people, I'm like, I love working on Backstage, and it's an easy job. Like, it's so fun, and they make it so, like, they just make my job really easy and fun, and I could not be more thankful for that. It's awesome.
And what's it like too, working with your cohorts?
My dudes. I love it. When we
what a really good cast.
Yes.
I mean,
right?
Here's the thing, Renee. 2 people working together, okay, let's see how the chemistry is.
Yeah.
But now it's 4. And sometimes you have that rotating person like a Samoa Joe, if he's available, or Ember Moon if she's available. And by the way, really good.
Put situations where we have to adapt. Having Booker T as my right-hand man is great. That was something that I wanted from the get-go, was to have Booker on the show. I worked with him a bunch doing kickoff panels with WWE, so we're very familiar working together. I know what I'm going to get from him. And God, fans love Booker T. So to have him on there and having his analysis, I mean, as you guys probably know, he runs his own wrestling school as well in Houston. So he just has so much insight to bring to the table, and he's got such a great energy. I legit don't think I've seen him in a bad mood ever. He's just always in a good mood. He always brings a great energy. But it's cool to switch up our cast sometimes, though, and see what kind of a different dynamic we're going to have. You know, like the other week, having CM Punk on with Paige, and then with Christian. And I wasn't sure what that energy level was going to be like in the absence of Booker T. So I was like, oh, how are we going to do this? But it's like, everyone's pros. We're all pros at what we do, depending on like who's going to bring what to the table. So I love when we can switch it up. Samoa Joe is another person. Damn, I loved having him on the show.
He was
like,
real.
Okay,
oh my gosh.
Got a great storyline going on. I understand, but if we could pull you doing some double duty here, that would be fantastic. You know, Ember Moon bringing in so much energy. Same with Xavier Woods while he's out for injury, and that's a great thing with Backstage too, providing a platform for people that might be on the IR for a little bit and give them some TV time and give them that experience under their own belts. It's really cool.
And it's interesting you mentioned CM Punk.
Yeah.
Were you kept in the dark for the most part too?
Hell no. No, I knew about that from the get-go. Punk and I had been talking in the weeks leading up to it. I was really kind of like knocking on his door a little bit, like, come do this. Please come do this. I was really looking forward to working with him.
Good job keeping it quiet, by the way.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
It's so hard, though, nowadays to do that with everything. It was so cool that you did.
You must. You simply have to. But yeah, having Punk join the show and to have CM Punk in the wrestling world again in any capacity is just like it's really a piece of magic. So I love being able to have him on the show. I wish we could have him on the show more. So hopefully moving forward, maybe we can make that happen. But yeah, he's great and he's a good friend, and it's a lot of fun having him on the show.
Well, now I'm thinking too, is there anyone that you would like to have on the show that comes to mind? I know there's probably many out there, but is there anyone that comes to mind right now that you'd be like, you know what, I really want to...
As a co-host or a guest?
As a co-host.
Okay, as a co-host. Huh.
How do you think Miz would do?
Miz is always good.
He always seems like he's on. He's just on for anything.
He can wear every hat and like make it happen. He's Miz is for sure. But I would have to go Corey Graves. Because you know, people saw us doing commentary together. They heard us rather more so than saw us, but I don't think that was necessarily a true indicator of what our chemistry is in that role. I mean, we both are doing very specific roles with that. I would love, and I've always wanted to do a show that was just me and Graves in our own element as friends, and that chemistry that we have. I think that's something that would be awesome.
It will show better on a show like that than obviously than a 3-hour, 2-hour wrestling show.
2-hour show where it's not even really dependent on our chemistry per se. It's like you're in the middle of calling matches. You're worried about getting somebody else's storylines in. You're calling action in the ring as well. We've got commercial breaks. I mean, there's so much
time frame for the match. I mean, yeah, all
this. A show where we can just have a little bit more space to breathe and have conversations. I think that would be. I would love that. So let's all petition for that.
Yes. Renee Young petition, sign it now for Corey Graves.
Yes.
What did you think of your time doing that? You were groundbreaking doing it.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that type of an experience?
I think it's just like the standard thing in WWE is to try to wear as many hats as possible. I've been put in so many different spots, from doing backstage interviews to doing kickoff panels to doing talking smack, and those are more the situations that I thrive in. However, you start to get a little bit like, I don't want to just do a panel once a month, every 6 weeks. I needed something more to do, and I kept asking for more. Wasn't sure what that was going to be, and then when the opportunity came up to do commentary, I was really excited to step into it, but God, do I ever give it up to anybody who steps in that role? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard to learn. You're learning on the fly. Like, it's not like you can do one show and start to pick apart the work that you've done, because the next show is going to be different. The vibe's going to be different. Your timing's going to be different. It was hard. I think that I've been pretty upfront about that. That it wasn't necessarily my favorite gig that I've done within WWE, but
it was a new gig. But it was a new gig too. It was a new experience.
And I'm happy that I was the first woman to get to do that. I mean, that really did mean a lot to me. We've got so much going on with the women's evolution, and I really wanted to be a part of that in some way. And that was sort of the feather in my cap to be able to participate in that way.
You've opened doors.
Exactly.
You have opened doors.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an opportunity that comes up, something at NXT or NXT UK, I mean, working in that environment's awesome. I love that. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but gosh, I am happy to be back in the spot I'm in now.
This is where you thrive. You really thrive.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Sure.
WWE Backstage and FS1. Are you a football fan? Are you an NFL football fan?
I'm a wrestling fan. I watch WWE. I watch a bunch of...
No CFL?
Not in a while. I unfortunately don't get those feeds down in Las Vegas anymore, but are the Argonauts doing all right? I don't know.
Toronto, the Argos. Yes, there you go, Renee.
Yeah,
that's what I want to hear.
A few different things. Of course, keeping an eye on the Raptors, see what's going on there. Try to keep an eye on
World champions.
World
Champions. Come on.
The fact that I was in Toronto when that happened for that finals game. We missed stuff all the time because we're on the road all the time. So the fact I was actually in Toronto and got to be there for that, it was incredible. What a great moment. Hell yeah, Raptors. Got it done.
Yes.
But yeah, as far as football goes, I can be a bit of a fair weather fan. So I will be watching the Super Bowl and I'm very excited. But
you're not a Bears fan? So you're not a Bears fan,
no.
Right?
No.
All right, Renee, thank you so much. I know we have WWE Backstage and FS1, and we've got WrestleMania coming up in Tampa. So tonight we're down here in Miami. This is great. We're right on South Beach. This is awesome down here.
Starting our little pre-party for WrestleMania.
Isn't it like that? It is. And then we just go a little bit up to Tampa, right up the road, and get ready for that.
WWE loves Florida. Love Florida. We're always down in Florida.
There's so many people that live in Florida too, past and present.
I know. Maybe someone will let me like couch surf during Mania week. We'll see.
Renee Young hosts a Florida show.
Come on.
This would be it right
I'm
here
in.
like that. And you could talk to all the athletes in Florida who are WWE fans because there are athletes everywhere, right? They're everywhere.
I know, they're everywhere. It's so fun seeing that crossover when we have like different like athletes,
celebrities.
It's really cool. I mean, some people are just they get so into it, and I think what it is too is a respect for the respect of what WWE superstars do. Being on the road as often as they are, putting their bodies through so much, traveling. I think that respect is something that you can definitely see in so many of our fans.
Is there anyone that comes to mind that you've met, celebrity or athlete, that just was like, oh wow, they're all cool, but wow, this was really cool?
I mean, we've been lucky with doing Backstage with having so many different celebrities and stuff coming on.
And promo school.
Yes. So one of my favorites actually was when we just had Freddie Prinze Jr. on. And granted, we know he used to be a writer.
Yeah, he worked a little bit, right?
But it was fun. I'd never met him prior. So to have him step into our world, like in the production meeting, and he was like up on current storylines. He had such like insight to provide. That was awesome. He's welcome back literally anytime.
Renee Young, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.